everybody, and welcome to another episode of I've Been Playing. Today we're talking about 2 Point Campus. If you've been around here for a while, you heard me speak about 2 Point Hospital. And 2 Point Campus, perhaps unsurprisingly, is by the same people and is a similar type of game, specifically a management sim. It starts in quite a similar vein. You have your tutorial campuses kind of trying to teach you the ropes of how this particular game is going to proceed. And each new, I almost said hospital, each new campus provides you with a tutorial for a new type of room and/or system. And it seems like that's true of at least the first 3 or 4 campuses that I've played through. I've just gotten to the big wizard school looking one, and I don't know if there are any tutorials in that one yet or not, but I think that is more where you're left a little bit to your own devices, though obviously each campus has goals, because you can earn stars, up to 3 stars as usual, and there are different goals at each. Goals for this particular game include a certain grade average, having a certain number of students on campus, having a certain number of rooms to start your school year. That's a little bit different, but that's a goal as well to keep in mind, especially towards the end of each year. Sometimes the goal is to have a certain number of student parties, sometimes it's a certain number of students completing an assignment, and various things obviously related to different sorts of campus life. And while the goals in 2 Point Hospital made sense and were occasionally difficult, it took me quite a while to get used to and familiar with and comfortable with, and anywhere good at, any of the goals and tasks in this game. It almost feels like the first tutorial level especially, I'm going to have to go back and restart because I didn't know all of the mechanics yet, and it's different enough that I didn't really feel like I knew what I was doing. And I'm going to be honest with you, when I started that first one and played through a bit of that first one, I wasn't really sure I liked this. Certainly not as much as 2 Point Hospital, and while I'm coming to terms with the game as a separate entity, I still don't think I like it as much. I don't think the formula works as well with a university campus. It just doesn't seem to translate for me. Specifically, the goals seem a lot more nebulous, and there's a lot more micromanaging. Specifically of students' grades and what they're doing, specifically in that you have to send them to private tutoring to keep their grades up a lot of the time. It also just doesn't feel like there's quite as much to do. There are random visitations, but there aren't really random events in the way that in 2 Point Hospital you'd get a rush of patients with a certain illness. Sometimes you have prospective students come and walk around the campus and look at things. Sometimes you have people come and assess your entertainment value or your academic value. But it's just not the same, and not nearly on the same level, and it doesn't have any sense of urgency to it. That being said, the night school, night with a K, does kind of have that in that you will get invaded by enemy knights every once in a while and you'll have to fight them off, but that's not something you really have direct contact with if you have janitors that can defend the campus. At least I never really paid attention to it, but that's the only time-sensitive thing that I can think of that I've encountered so far. Now, of course, I have only done the first 4 scenarios, and I've only gotten 1 star, I think, in them, maybe 2 stars in one of them, but I've just been kind of trying to unlock each successive campus and move on. Partly, like I said, because I feel like I'm going to have to go back and restart some of the earlier ones once I understand and unlock more of the mechanics through the game, which is a little annoying. I'm sure it's doable without going back and restarting, but it doesn't feel to me like it is. I've heard that a lot of people are having problems with bugs. I haven't really seen any, I haven't noticed any. I don't know if they're already patched out, or I just haven't encountered any, but apparently there are a lot. Maybe it's the version of the game I have. I don't know if one system is better than another, but I haven't seen anything that weird. There has been a little bit of slowdown with some of the people who are walking over to some of their friends, or maybe not even their friends, but they're walking over to talk to somebody and they just kind of, their walk animation speeds up and slows down and then speeds up and then slows down, and I don't know if that's intentional or not, but it is the one thing I noticed, and it seems like they're getting stuck on things that they shouldn't be colliding with, and I don't know why they have that level of collision detection anyway. Like, you're gonna need some of it. You don't want to walking through stuff, I get that, but like, they're 5 feet away from somebody and it looks like they get stuck on them. One other thing I noticed, and this is kind of completely unrelated to anything, but it seems like, I don't know if it did this in 2 Point Hospital, I don't remember it doing it, but it sounds like the background music, the speed of the background music is dependent on how fast you are progressing time, because I switched to the faster time and it sounded like it sped up, which is a small detail, but I appreciate it as long as I'm not just making things up and that actually does happen. So that's kind of really all I have to report on the game. It's a management sim. The humor is still there as well, but I just don't think it works as well because you don't have funny pun-named diseases, and some of the things like the night school, for example, it's still there. It just doesn't feel the same because it's not even close to the same sort of business. There just doesn't seem to be the same level of interaction and the same amount of just stuff. I know you can research upgrades, you can research new things. I've had to do that a little bit. Every once in a while a student will need something that I don't have for an assignment, so I have to unlock it and put it in the room. But the problem with that is I don't know that ahead of time when I'm building the rooms, so I don't build the rooms to fit all of the stuff that they need for the assignments, and then some of them you have to research, and the research is so slow because at least in the one I was researching stuff at primarily, the person researching did not have a good research skill. I don't know. I think I still have some more learning to do with this one, certainly, but I feel like it's taking me longer to come to grips with than 2 Point Hospital did. I like it, but I definitely don't enjoy it as much. I feel like once I get through all of the main scenarios, I'm not nearly as likely to go back to it as I would be to 2 Point Hospital. But some people are really enjoying it, so what can you do? That's just my opinion. I don't think it's as good as 2 Point Hospital is. 2 Point Hospital seems like a more confined, concise idea that was executed well, and part of it might be because Theme Hospital already exists, so there is kind of a template there, which is not to suggest they did that, but it does exist, so it's easier to see what you might do with it, and also hospitals are schools are a business as well. Don't let them fool you, but it's just not the same. It doesn't feel the same. It doesn't work the same way, and I don't think it translates quite as well into a management sim as a hospital, or something that you traditionally think of as a business. But that's what I've been thinking of this game so far. What do you think of it? Please tell me down in the comments below. Like I said, I know a lot of people are enjoying it, although the bugs are causing issues for a lot of people. So if you have any thoughts, please share them with me in the comments. How do you think this compares to 2 Point Hospital? Which one do you like better? If you enjoyed this, leave a like. Consider subscribing if you're not subscribed yet. I do one of these every Monday that I can get around to playing a new game. I do a whole bunch of other stuff on my channel. You can check that out, some of it in the description below, or by going to my channel, and I will see you next time.